What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Atlanta Falcons Weekly Report. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers, here talking about their upcoming game tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football, and of course, looking back to their just tragic loss the other week to the Seattle Seahawks. But before we get into it, if you like the show, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We go live here on the channel each and every single week. Also have, of course, Falcons weekly updates. Not nearly as much anymore because it was officially confirmed that they're going to be out of the playoffs now for, I believe, the 7th or 8th year in a row. And they also have a losing record that's been confirmed. So time is ticking for this year's Falcons Weekly Report. Once again, if you like the show, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go live here on the channel, not just the Falcons, but also various college football sports, talking different conferences. At the start of the new year, going to be doing a lot of draft prospect specials for each person, each team. So if you have anyone in mind that you want us to cover, anyone from maybe a smaller school we're not aware of, please drop a comment so that way we can bookmark that and that we can get to it here as we get closer to the new year. And of course, all of your college football playoff just insanity going on, game previews, everything along those lines. Be sure to hit subscribe to the channel and also go download our podcast, which we have thanks to the Believe Podcast Network on all various podcast streaming platforms. So let's get into it. The Atlanta Falcons lost in their contest this past week to the Seattle Seahawks. Final score 37-9. It was a blowout, but if you look at it, it wasn't halftime. It was tied in a very low-scoring 6-6 ball game. The Falcons had every chance in the world to win this game, with being tied at halftime against a very game Seattle Seahawks team, who, with the win, now improved to 10-3 overall for the Falcons, now at 4-9. And when you look at this ball game, it's just nothing went right. I mean, the offense was stagnant for the most part. Kirk Cousins, I don't think he has it left in him anymore. 2 interceptions, threw for only 162 yards, 15-30 passing, just not going to get it done. I will say the O-line for Atlanta did a good job, only 1 sack for Cousins. The running game was also looking pretty good as well. 31 total carries for the team, 120 yards on the ground. Bijan Robinson responsible for 86, and of course Tyler Algier having 34. So the running game was working, just couldn't get points on the board. Receiving core, Kyle Pitts Sr. was your top one with 90 yards for 6 catches. Tyler Algier was second, and a bunch of other guys like Drummond, like Mooney, like Tompkins, like David Sills, so on and so forth, just getting in there because we know the Falcons have been without Drake London for some time now. And at this point, there's no need to rush him back. Rest of the team, just defensively, great in the first half, not so great in the second half. 2 sacks on the day. Contavious Street and James Pierce Jr., what a great year he's had individually, were responsible for both of those. You had 3 passes defended. You had 1 interception, courtesy of Mike Hughes. And, of course, your kicking game with Zane Gonzalez went 3 of 4 for field goals, missed that one. But in the end, just couldn't get anything done. Sam Darnold ended up carving us up in that second half. 3 touchdowns, 249 yards, 20 of 30 passing as well. Very good numbers there. The running game as well, pretty solid. Beat us there, 26 carries as a team for $129. In the receiving core, we know Jackson Smith and Jibba has become a top-tier talent. In the NFL, we know he was at Ohio State, but it's translated greatly into the National Football League. And I've lost words because of how this team somehow just loses all these games at home as well, mind you. And this was just kind of, I think, the stake right to the heart to end the season. And for the Falcons, they have just not been good this year, as we've said. Just offense is ice cold. Defense, look, defense didn't do great in the second half, but they gave you a chance in the first half to put points on the board, and the Falcons couldn't. Zach Robinson, Raheem Morris, probably the main 2 culprits. I see everyone calling for heads to roll for those 2. Morris said that Arthur Blank, has his back 100%. I don't know if that's just clickbait or if that is true. I'm sure we'll find out here as the season ends. But once again, the Falcons failed to make the playoffs and failed to have a winning record at this point. And it'll be interesting to see just how many wins they do rack up once the season ends. Now, as we know, it's going to be a short week. They're playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in what should have been at this point probably a battle for first place, but that's just not the point here. But for the Buccaneers, they have a lot to lose in this one because they are still fighting for that number 1 spot in the South. They had a rough loss this past week to the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay's been scuffling as of late. Have lost, I believe, 4 of their last 5, so they are on kind of the downward swing. We know they've had a slew of injuries. Baker Mayfield hasn't looked right in a while, and they just haven't been able to get a whole lot going. But with this game here, I expect that to flip. I think they're going to look good. I think they'll fix whatever issues they have because they are tied for first place with the Carolina Panthers with only a handful of weeks left in the season. And we know the Falcons have struggled. We know their struggles against Carolina this year. But for the Buccaneers, we know their group, their main guys there, Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, and Rod White, Chris Godwin, Kate Otten, Emeka Ibuka, so on and so forth. I have no doubt in mind that they'll win this game. I just think they are a better franchise. They're better well run, better well coached, and I think they'll get the win this week in Week 15 on Thursday Night Football in Prime Video for any of those who want to watch this game. If you want to watch, probably a rough matchup for Atlanta, go right ahead. But for me, final score, let me go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting the win of this one. Let's go 30-10. Because, boy, this offense has just been rough for Atlanta for many, many weeks now. Kirk Cousins, that ankle, the Achilles injury he had, coming out of Minnesota just hasn't healed up. He hasn't looked great, especially this year. He looks his age. And, boy, we're just kind of waiting for this season to end here, truthfully, in Atlanta, because it has just been a nightmare. So, final score, I think the Buccaneers will win this one in a blowout. Go on, and they'll keep competing for the NFC South. And for the Falcons, I would say fight for draft positioning, but that doesn't really matter because they don't have a first-round pick this year. After making those two, I will say they made two good trades. They made the trade last year to get James Pierce Jr. and Walker as well. And it's just, I will say for individuals, it's worked out great. But as a team, just, boy, you wish you had those back. So tough go at it, but I think the Buccaneers should roll in this one and a big, big win for them. For the Falcons, just another loss on the in the column as we wait for the season to end. But I want to hear your final thoughts, your score, who's going to be your player of the game, or hey, will the Falcons win? Can I get a ray of hope next week? Let me know in the comments. Facebook, YouTube. Also go check out our podcast for the Atlanta Falcons Week 15 report with your host and producer Logan Landers. Go Birds! I guess we'll see you again next.